Welcome back. So if you've been following TechLounge over the past few years, the next guest will be no surprise for you. It's Chippy. Chippy.
Yeah. Thanks,
So,
Nicole.
Steve Chippy Paine has been coming on the show. Well, we've been doing live streams and podcasts and stuff
Since 2007.
Since 2007.
Yeah.
Don't date us like that.
I know.
What?
Yeah, that was when we were doing the Meet Mobility
Meet Mobility
streams,
podcast. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, with JKK.
Shout out to JKK.
Shout out to JKK. Yeah, so we've been talking about MIDs and UMPCs, and your website is still UMPC Portal?
Yep, back to umcportal.com now. I did have for a while ultrabooknews.com, but that
SEO
brand
term
has
is,
kind of faded back into ultramobile PCs now. So I've gone back to UMC Portal.
Which I mean makes sense. I mean, like the term notebook and laptop, it should just refer to the clamshell, and then when we have the 2-in-1, it also has a keyboard, right? So I mean, like it's all in the same family.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely. And it's quite interesting, you know, how that Ultrabook project, which really finished a couple of years ago, has fed back into a lot of the stuff that comes 11.6 inches and below now. So where the Ultrabooks were sort of 11.6, 13.3, 14 inch, that technology is now fed back through Core M basically, down into 2-in-1s and, you know, devices like the Surface Pro and Surface Pro 3.
So I'm actually not a Surface user for whatever reason.
Keyboard?
It's the keyboard, yeah, I think it's the keyboard. So you've actually had a chance to do a type test.
Leads us on to the Lenovo Mix 700, right?
Mix 700, that's right, yeah. Which you said a little bird told you?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so if you haven't seen the Mix 700, it is exactly shockingly like the Surface Pro 3, right?
Yeah, it's got the same kind of chassis that we have here. Same kind of
hinge, and then I lifted the hinge up and I looked inside, I'm like, oh, the micro SD card's in the same place.
Right.
So, you know, some licensing must have gone on there, cross-licensing between Microsoft or Lenovo, or the other way, we don't know who designed it, who's got the IP on it, and who's manufactured it. There's lots of names in the mix, but so it is, you know, it is the Surface Pro 3 with the kickstand, 12.5-inch screen. It's quite interesting, right? Because it's Core M, and it should be very close in performance to what we're getting on this Core i5. So it's Core M next generation. So it actually overlaps this current one, right? So Microsoft would never allow that product to happen, assuming there's a licensing deal, if they didn't have another product in the wings, right? So I'm talking about...
Well, no, but the new Mix 700, the processor on that is like the low-end Surface 3.
No.
Essentially.
It's Core M. So that sits above the Surface 3, and if it's designed well, will extend into the range that Core i5 was in maybe 1 or 2 generations ago. And it does overlap. It will overlap the Core i3 version of this easily. So it sits above the Surface 3, just below the Surface Pro 3, but very close to the Pro 3. So it means that clearly there's another product, Surface Pro 4, which of course we're pretty sure is going to happen in October.
It's going to happen in the fall for holiday.
Yeah, we think it's going to happen in October, and that of course will be proper U-Series Skylake, so Ultrabook style, like this was U-Series, but possibly still with a fan, because it was a 15-watt TDP. But anyway, so what you'll end up with is the Surface 3, the Lenovo Mix 700, and we'll talk about the keyboard on that, because that's how we got here. And then the Surface Pro 4, and they will sit nicely in the market, segmented, I think, and separated.
Absolutely. So can we show a bit of footage of the Mix 700?
If we've got some of that, yeah.
We do have a little bit of that. And so the thing that I was most interested in is that the Surface keyboard I've never been a big fan of, but Lenovo keyboards, ThinkPad keyboards, which have been kind of merging between the two lines, are some of the most fantastic keyboards that are on the market. I mean, for typing, they're really good. So I mean, you can kind of look at that. I mean, they have the classic kind of U shape on there, and they have the nice divots where your fingers rest really nicely.
It's not actually a ThinkPad keyboard. It's more IdeaPad.
Oh, it's an IdeaPad keyboard.
So it hasn't got the indented keys like a ThinkPad would. So it's not up the high end there, but you can see
the dent is similar to the ThinkPad though. It's not as deep. You're right. It's not as deep, but the IdeaPad and the ThinkPad keyboards are have gotten more and more similar over the years.
Yeah, that's true. So this has really got proper moving mechanics, scissor action mechanics underneath it, rather than the touch type keyboard, which is the flat sort of I don't know what you call it underneath, but it's
just
a little
squishy, just
and bouncy and echoey,
squishy
and a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people don't get on with it. It has a horrible sound to it and a weird feel to it. I get on with it. I've had it a year now, and I've done thousands and thousands of words on it, probably hundreds of thousands of words on it. But I know a lot of people just don't get on with it. So if you look at the Yoga, you can't see it on this, but if you look at the Yoga Mix 700 keyboard, you'll see that there's a proper bit of
see there. I tried to check out which CPU it was, and it just said Core M.
6Y54.
Okay.
I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I mean, like, you and I came from the time of loving the Atom and really making the most out of low power.
Yeah.
Right. And so I've never really had a problem kind of working off a low power CPU for some stuff. Right, but once I start to do this job with video and productivity,
once you get to video editing, Core M just is not there, right? And so I'm rocking the Spectre right now, and I'm just not that happy with it. And I mean, that's with the Core M, is it?
It is, but okay, let's we have a close up on the keyboard here. So actually, the connector is the exact same as the Surface. Well, it's got
6 pins instead of the 5. Oh, sorry, it's got a couple of extra pins. Okay, there's a story on that.
Okay. And you can see that they've got the wristband, the watch band
the
for
watch band
the hinge.
Which is really solid,
really
and actually
nice.
a bit nicer than the sort of wobbly bit on the Surface Pro 3. So, and there's an LTE version. You've got 2 full-size USB ports on this as well. There's one on the other side in that image, and of course this keyboard and the price, entry price of €699.
Oh, they did come out with a price. I missed that. Okay, $699.
And the interesting thing is it includes a Bluetooth keyboard, okay? Bluetooth keyboard is listed. Now, that's not a Bluetooth keyboard,
That is not a Bluetooth keyboard,
So we asked Lenovo, what do you mean, Bluetooth keyboard? This is a directly connected keyboard. And they're saying, well, actually, it will be a Bluetooth-enabled keyboard exactly like this. So we're hoping it will be a directly connected and Bluetooth-capable keyboard, so you'll be able to unplug it, pull it away from the screen and carry on working, or even use it for other things.
Very nice.
But, I don't have a massive amount of confidence in what they told me, to be honest, to be 100% true. So let's wait and see whether it really is Bluetooth enabled, that keyboard.
Yeah, absolutely. The Mix 700. So what else did we see here at the show?
There was that real highlight product from Toshiba, the Radius 12, the Click Radius 12. We might have a video of that as well.
Which we've seen that at Computex. Or was that the Click?
I wasn't at Computex, so you might have seen it, so I'm way behind. But 4K display,
that's right.
full fat Skylake U series CPU, 8 gigs RAM, 256 SSD, beautiful design. It's got the folding yoga style hinge as well.
Let's actually talk about processors for a second here. So my most shared tweet from all of this Skylake biznaz is a Skylake cheat sheet.
What?
Right? A cheat sheet on the processors.
A cheat sheet.
A cheat sheet. Yeah, a cheat sheet.
What's a cheat sheet?
Cheat sheet. Yeah, a cheat sheet. Right. So there's Intel loves this new concept: good, better, best. Right. Yep. They're breaking everything down into those kind of 3 categories.
Like 3s. And within those categories, there's always
and then within the categories, there's 3.
X3, X5, X7, Core M5, Core M3, Core M7,
so,
Core i3.
Guys, whenever I have these moments of like, I'm not sure what's going on, I hit up Chippy.
I am the cheat sheet.
He is the cheat sheet. All right. So go through this with me. Let's break this down.
Let's break this down bit by bit.
Bit by bit. We're going to understand what's coming up on in the fall lineup, basically, right?
The cheat sheet is on uembassyportal.com, where I did a big rundown.
He did do a big rundown. Or you can go to my Twitter, where I have one graphic.
Yeah,
it's a little easier.
But my article's better.
Oh, yeah. But then my tweet.
Yeah, my article is written for geeks and weirdos like myself.
Yeah.
Let's really go through it really quickly, right?
Yeah.
From the Atom range.
Yeah.
You've got the X3. Also known Sophia, which is the one with the integrated LTE or 3G, 4G modem on it.
Which we're seeing in smartphones and some tablets. They have the partnership with Rockchip. So really the Sophia
and ARM. There's ARM architecture in the GPU. Ooh. It's a Mali architecture.
Yeah, there is a Mali architecture in there. Yeah. ARM and Intel are finally sitting in a tree.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. But that primarily, we're mostly going to see that in developing countries.
It's an entry level.
So the X3 isn't something that most people in the Western market are going to get their hands on.
I don't think so, no.
Yeah. So like, you can see my videos on it because I live in Asia, but probably in the West we're not going to be seeing too much of that. And then we have the X5.
So the X5 is the old Bay Trail T.
Yeah.
So that's pure Intel.
Pure Intel.
Architecture.
T for tablet, which was my little cheat sheet there.
Yeah, T for tablet. Although you'll also find it now in some laptops.
In some laptops,
That medium laptop that went on sale in Germany yesterday, 2 days ago.
Oh yeah, I didn't see those Medion devices at the Lenovo event.
The tablet platform inside.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, that's kind of changed with X5 because you've got X7 as well. So they're both very efficient, sort of battery life focused platforms, also very small, highly integrated, to go into very small form factors and to allow manufacturers to have very easy designs around them. So it's really compact motherboard, so you just slap it in, everything's sort of supplied for you almost. That's not true, but highly integrated.
The basics are there.
Yeah. GPU and audio and all that sort of stuff.
And so the X7.
So the X7 is really the same thing except the higher clocked version of it.
Have we seen any products with that
yet? Surface 3 has the X7.
Surface 3.
Yeah.
What else? But besides...
the other X7 device is the Acer tablet, the gaming tablet.
Oh, the Predator.
Predator 8.
That's right, because apart from this one product, right? Like I didn't really see it coming up anywhere else.
Yeah, but there'll be other products have it. For example, the Switch 10V is the updated Switch 10 that's got an X5 in it. There's absolutely no reason they can't offer a higher SKU of that.
That's true.
Put 4 gigs of RAM in it, an X7.
So then why is nobody? If the Surface Pro 3 is so good, why is no one else using this SKU?
I think you will see it. I mean, it's early days. The Surface Pro 3 was the sort of the lead-in product for the X series range, and I think you'll see more. There's rumours that they're a bit late, and let's face it, it's 2 years since the last architecture change on Atom.
Yeah, that's true.
Bay Trail T was 2 years ago.
Yeah,
it's a really long time. So. It's taking longer than I think they expected. So hopefully before Christmas we'll see some X5 devices and also X7 versions of them. So with 4 gigs of RAM and the nice GPU that's in there, you're really getting into productivity space now. It's not constrained by 2 gigs of RAM. It's not a 32-bit operating system anymore. It's 64-bit. So.
But it's not professional level productivity. It is more consumer level, general mucking around. Cyberlink Power Director is still one of the most solid choices for photo editing and this type of stuff. Because like when you start looking at Vegas or Adobe Premiere, which are some of the things that I kind of skew towards, they don't have the same level of integration that you're going to find on a Mac.
Yeah.
Right? Like just like the use of QuickSync just hasn't kind of gone to the pro levels. It stayed more in the consumer level, which is still good.
Yeah, but I think when, actually that's the difference between my videos and your videos. I'm still using Power Director, right?
Yeah.
I don't put too many effects on them. Once you start moving into effects and filters and particles and that sort of stuff, then it all goes to the CPU anyway. So actually having QuickSync doesn't really help. And
it's so funny with Instagram and live filters on smartphones. This is something that we've come to expect, and it doesn't seem to happen as it didn't happen as quickly on the laptop as it did on a smartphone. So like live filters and live filter changes is something that happened much later. We're only really starting to see that come in now.
Yeah, in fact,
Skylake, it's been on mobile for ages.
Exactly. And Skylake is the first laptop processor that actually has an image processor in it. It's new in the GPU. There's a bit of silicon dedicated to image processing there, and also real-time video encoding, so for conferencing as well. That's trying to reduce the latency and reduce the power needed for full HD conferencing, and even things like, Twitch streaming, for example. Twitch streaming,
which we're on right now.
Hey,
streaming to Twitch right now.
I'm on Twitch?
You're on Twitch! Woohoo!
I'm not even a gamer. How's
You're
that?
not
How
even
is
a
that
gamer.
possible?
Twitch has finally opened up to the geek.
So, we mentioned the Predator. It's a nice little gaming 8-inch tablet. 8-inch tablet. Gaming. So for streaming activities and that sort of stuff, it's kind of interesting. It's called the Just in time? No, I've forgotten the name of it.
I think it is just, isn't it just in time?
No, it's or something like dedicated unit or something. Anyway, it's low latency, real time, H.264 encoding up to, I think, full HD, not 4K.
Okay, now let's talk about Core M.
Right.
So this is where I really want to hear all the stories you have to tell.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I'm regretting my decision to travel these 6 weeks on Core M. Everything is fine, except for when I need to do any kind of heavy lifting on graphics. That's when I see the system slow down, and I can't open up Chrome tabs as quickly. It struggles. It really struggles whenever there's any kind of graphic intensive activity going on, which is, I'm an exception because I'm a content creator, right? So I chose it for the 8 hours of real-time battery life on Wi-Fi, right? But
it's taking 8 hours to do everything because it's slowing down. That's the point. Okay. So there was Atom, right? And now we're moving into Core, the classic Intel Core, Core i3, Core i5, Core i7. And what they did a couple of generations ago is they made low clock versions of those with some very interesting sort of thermal controls. So they're measuring temperature, and the operating system was measuring temperature, feeding back to the processor, and the processor saying, right, it's going to get too hot, we'll clock down. And by doing that, they put sort of caps on the CPU and thermal throttling. They could give them to manufacturers and say, right, you can put this in a smaller form factor.
Right.
And I think even 2 generations ago, we saw the first fanless tablet 2-in-1 from HP, I think it was. And it was a Y series Core. Which is basically just a constrained version of the U series, of the Ultrabook series processors. What happened to last generation is they rebranded it. They just called it Core M instead of Y series.
Y series.
But if you look into the processors, you'll still see Y series mentioned. If you look into any of the PDFs from IDF.
So it's U series, Y series, and the Core I series. Basically,
no. Going from the bottom. It's Atom, Core M, which is the Y series, and then it's.
But within Core M.
No, within Core M.
Within
so now
Core,
what they've done
this is what I'm talking about. Within Core M
is they've done some marketing on it. There's nothing's really changed. There always were different SKUs, different products within the Core M range. Super. So I don't know whether this branding, this Core M5, Core M3, and Core M7 branding is going to help. Maybe it does. There's only actually 4 processors. One of them fits under the Core M3. 2 of them fit under Core M5. One of them, I think, is a vPro.
All right, so the consumer is in the store, right?
Yeah.
And this is something that I've actually been struggling with, because I'm working on my holiday season buying guide, or tips and tricks, or kind of attacking this. And so when I've looked at Core M, right, the M3, M5, M7. I'm actually struggling to tell the consumer what their use case difference is in each of these SKUs inside. You know what I mean?
But does anyone know what the use case differences are between Core i3, Core i5, and Core i7?
Yeah.
What is it? You think, okay, i7 is the stuff that's going to be for professional use.
Yeah.
i5 is your high-end consumer,
So
and i3 is your entry level.
We're just going to cut into the next slot. We're not, because I need to know. We're going to figure this out, man. By the time I leave, we're going to have a definitive guide for the consumer. You're not getting out of here.
We should go less technical in 5 minutes. Give us another signal in 5 minutes, because we don't want to carry on with this too much.
No. Because seriously, it's, to me, Core i3. Traditionally, when I give buying advice, Core i3 will be for somebody who's just doing light email, right? And they're not going to be doing anything that intensive with their computer, right? They're mostly a surfing kind of person. They don't know where the settings are on their computer, maybe, right? But then they're also a person that maybe is more fashion-centric with their devices and probably will update again. Right, to be honest with you, right? Because they're cheaper, maybe they're a little more forward on wanting something sleek or sexy or just different design. Generally, I see that as the Core i3 user, right? The Core i5 is somebody who maybe wants to keep it a little bit longer. They're willing to invest a little bit more money into it. They like their machine, but maybe they do photo editing. Right? There's somebody who does a lot more photo editing, want to keep their machine for a couple of years. Core i7, they're probably refreshing yearly. There's someone who's a lot more serious with their devices. So Core i3, Core i5, Core i7, I see where the consumer is different. But with Core M, I don't understand what M3, M5, and M7 are going to have to differentiate to the consumer. And I thought you would know.
Super confusing because even within Core i3, Core i5, Core i7,
there's so many other SKUs.
You have U series for Ultrabook, M series for mobile for laptops, and you have K series for desktops. You also have, I think you even have an overclockable K series laptop one now. And that could be a Core i5, could also be a Core i7 with vPro. So, okay, it is super confusing, but let's go back to Core M. Because you mentioned, and this is probably the best way to sum it up, you mentioned fashion conscious, thin and light, maybe a different type of design, a 2-in-1, a detachable, a rotatable. That's where Core M comes in, because the Core M is really, it's a gift to designers, right? To say, listen, this is small. It is. It's really aimed at the manufacturer. Y series, and remember the term scenario design power?
Yeah.
It was telling the designers, okay, you've got more headroom here. You can make it smaller, you can make it thinner, you can play with hinges, you can play with materials, and that's what Core M does. It gives the manufacturer the flexibility. So what's coming back from the manufacturers are 2-in-1s, super thin and light, convertible screens, detachable tablets, detachable stuff, thin, different materials, different shapes and sizes. So that's what Core M is all about.
So it's for the Core i3 user who has more money.
No, it could be cheaper.
But they're not really.
$499 for an entry-level Core M 2-in-1 now.
But they're not that. So which one? Like the Yoga Flip stuff?
The Trek Store, I think, is $499. We've seen the Switch 12 from last year go down to $449 on special offer. I think it was a $649 product. So yeah, you're looking at a $499 to $699 product range for Core M. I think it's consumer-oriented. It's style-oriented, it's thin and light-oriented, and it's casual computing-oriented. And it's really how Intel see the fight against losing sales in the laptop market, right? How to make it trendy again, how to get people to refresh earlier. They're talking about the 18-month refresh cycle on a 2-in-1 now, which is like half what it used to be on a laptop. Yeah, which is half
what it used to be on a laptop.
Yeah, sealed units, make them cheap, make them sexy, make people want them. It's not about really specs, it's about how cool the device looks.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about products for buying season, holiday season, 2015.
Oh my God.
Let's talk about if we're buying a laptop, because this is kind of the hot time to pick something up. All the new models are coming up. The prices are dropping on last year's model. Yeah. Right. So this is kind of the fun time of year.
This is a fun time of year
to start to look at laptop shopping.
Time of year to look at it as well.
So to be honest with you, maybe it's because I used it for so long and it still looks so good in the office. The Yoga 2 Pro, not the 3, because the 3 was Core M, not quite powerful enough for me. But the prices have dropped on the 2 Pro now. Right. To a place where the performance is better than the 3.
This was one with the 2560 by 1440.
Yeah. So it had the QHD display.
Nice device.
Really nice and thin.
Yeah.
Right before they went to the watch band. So to me, the Yoga 2 Pro is, even though it's 2 years old, it's still actually a device because of the processor changes that Intel's had. You can look back at devices that are 2 years old, maybe on the higher end, that will be absolutely fine for you.
Yeah, some of the Ultrabooks from the last generation.
So what were your hot picks from last generation?
Well, actually, the Surface Pro 3. I reviewed it 6 months after it launched. It was still a very significant device in the market. It still is now, right? So if the Surface Pro 4 launches, there'll be a load of these still left to get off shelves, right?
That's true.
Keep a lookout for Surface Pro 3s at falling costs right now over the next couple of months. The Surface Pro 4 will come in at probably the same price as the Pro 3 came in at, which means I'll have to get rid of the stocks of the Pro 3. Microsoft won't want the Pro 3 to hang around for too long because they want people to go for the Pro 4, obviously.
Yeah.
But that could be a nice bargain over the next month or two.
So laptops that you've seen over the past few days that you're kind of hot on. So I've actually downstairs, just right over there, at the ASUS booth, the X305.
Got the upgrade to
Skylake.
Yeah.
I've actually forgotten, right? Because I have an X301 that had the Gorilla Glass back, right? And it had the Iris graphics for like the Pro Video Maker.
Didn't yours have like this sort of smashed effect on the back of it?
It did have the smashed effect for a while on the back of it.
Oh, sorry, I thought that was part of the style of it.
Was not part of the style of it. But the X305, I'm
UX305, good deal.
Really good deal. The full aluminum chassis, like ASUS has always made a really nice ZenBook.
Yeah.
Right, as like a nicely designed, really sleek. It was the first device that people went, oh shit, Windows can have a MacBook Air-like look.
Yeah.
Right, and now it's not a MacBook Air-like look. It's just a thin and sleek laptop look. Yeah. Right, so I'm actually kind of hot on the ZenBook lineup. The X305 down there, I had a feel on it. I had a bend on it, and I'm kind of digging that one. Yeah.
The other one would be the Dell XPS 13 because that's getting an upgrade as well.
So in the live stream, the laptop on Sasha's lap with all of the stickers on the back, that's actually a Dell XPS 13. And the reason why that one's so great is that for the non-touch version, it's down at $799 in the US, which is pretty crazy. I mean, I personally can't do without touch on a laptop, but he just hasn't made that move.
He hasn't made the transition.
He hasn't made the transition to touching his computer yet. So the Dell XPS 13,
because we're kind of focused on the mobile stuff.
People on the go who bring their computers around with them. Like we're actually looking at
one device that I really liked last year that everyone hates is the Acer Switch 12. It's quite thick.
It's quite thick.
Bulky.
It's not sexy.
It's not sexy at all, but
and the docking mechanism was kind of like not nice.
I had it in the office, and I took that keyboard off and I moved it away from the screen and I started typing. I was like, oh, that's cool. Let's put this up on a couple of books. Wait a minute, let's get this right in front of my eyes and have the keyboard down there. So I had a really ergonomically good experience with this laptop by just sticking it on a couple of books and pulling the keyboard away.
Okay.
So there's something to be said for detachable keyboards that are Bluetooth, and that'll be quite interesting with the Mix 700 to see if it is Bluetooth. And then I moved across the room and I put the Switch 12 on the other side of the room and I moved away with the keyboard and I thought, hello, presentation mode, that could sit next to the projector. Yeah. And I'm sitting in the audience or whatever with my keyboard and my mouse pointer operating the PC from 30 feet away. So that was a kind of interesting one as well.
Okay.
So there's two scenarios you can't do.
Yeah, you can't do with traditional.
With other devices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, my pick with the Yoga, the O2 Pro, or even like just any of these flipping devices, right? Like because ASUS has their Flip. As well. I mean, Toshiba has one. ThinkPad has one. There's so many on the market. But I really enjoy having that scenario where you pull the keyboard away and you forget that you have to be productive.
Yeah.
Right? Because like sometimes if it's the only kind of connection that you have to your work and your play, it's nice to remove the keyboard to kind of go.
Well, they should do a little app that says rotate your keyboard away.
Yeah, take your keyboard away.
Because you've got space for a coffee then, haven't you?
Yeah, you have space
just
for a coffee.
Just to browse through the news.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very true.
That stand mode, yeah.
So last topic before I let you go. Chromebooks. Because Chippy, man of many hats. He has so many hats.
Don't ask me about Chromebooks.
What do you mean?
Nothing's happened in the Chromebook world this year.
What?
I know. There's been a few products knocking around, and there's a couple of interesting products here. So Acer's had that super cheap Chromebook Flip, right? Mm-hmm. $179, $89.
And we have a video of this Acer Cloudbook.
Which is not a Chromebook.
Which is not a Chromebook. It's
Windows 10, isn't it?
So why are they calling it
a Chromebook killer?
Why are they calling it a Cloudbook?
Well, it's just marketing, and that's actually all the media that are calling it the Chromebook killer are also jumping on the bandwagon, and actually it's nothing to do with the Chromebook.
It has nothing to do with the Chromebook.
Nothing to do with the Chromebook apart from
But why are they even calling it a
price.
Cloud?
No,
because it's a similar price.
Because the media thinks Chromebooks are just there because mainstream media. There are a lot of people out there that understand what Chromebooks are about, but a lot of people don't get it. That it's a secure, highly manageable system for education use and secure, clean computing.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, these devices look totally fine. Like
this Cloudbook is really quite good. This starts at $169. Oh, is it 189? I think it's $169 for a 16 gig SSD version, which is kind of a little bit low end, a little bit risky to go for.
Very. You kind of want at least a 32 in there.
Yeah, 189 for the 32 gigs.
189
for the RAM. You got
32.
Braswell CPU inside. The keyboard's really not bad. Plastics look a bit ugly, but it's really solid.
The plastic looks a bit ugly.
Solid device.
I'll give it that.
I think it's built with education in mind, to be honest.
Does it have a full size or micro SD card? Because I haven't.
Full size SD card.
Full size SD card. So you could get a 128 class 10 full size SD card for like $1.20, something like that. So I mean, if you almost double the price of the computer.
Yeah, but
then you'd have a 128 gig
SD card, but it'd be sticking out all the time, wouldn't it?
Oh, is it not flush?
It's not flush.
Oh, why? The bane of my existence. Do you know how many computers I've broken? Or SD card slots I've broken because of this sticking out thing?
Yeah.
Like there's a fair few that I've like.
That's the only good thing about micro SD is that it's always flush and you can always just leave it in there and forget about it.
Either I've cracked cards, right, or I've actually smashed the slot. That's a. But I know a lot of guys need the card sticking out because they can't push the card in for the
that mechanism,
mechanism.
Ejection mechanisms are prone to failure anyway. Yeah.
But that is a nice big trackpad on that, actually.
That is a nice trackpad. It's actually not bad.
That is actually not a bad trackpad.
It's not a bad trackpad. It's so
small shift key on the right though.
You and your shift keys.
I like to. You know what? Because I'm a multi-shift user.
You're the only person in the world that's a multi-shift user.
No, people just don't realize it. People don't realize
I
that
think
they
should
may
drop the right-hand shift key, like like the shift lock key.
I'm ambidextrous in my shifting.
Oh, the scroll lock. That was it. The scroll lock key, wasn't it? They got rid of that.
If I need to capitalize with my left hand, I need to shift with my right. I'm not advanced enough to shift and type on the same hand. I don't know how you do that.
Like
do you do like yoga with your fingers to be able to like hit the P or the S?
Yeah, okay.
Or the T and the left shift.
Yeah, bear in mind
how do you do that?
That is that's a QWERTY keyboard. Yeah, sometimes you see the one with a small shift key because they're maybe a German keyboard which has a QWERTZ and has an extra couple of characters.
What's the processor on this one again?
Braswell. So I think it's the Celeron N3150, which is kind of entry level dual core. But that should be enough to do some basic office work. Certainly for playing HD videos, 2K videos, no problem at all.
Because it has the full size HDMI port if you want to go to full screen.
Fanless as well. So this will run XBMC. What's Kobe? What's it called now? Kodi? Media Center.
Yeah.
What's the new name for XBMC? This will run it fine and totally fanless and quiet.
And it's got the lid that looks like a Band-Aid.
Yeah. So they have another. Ace have another product, the E11, which is same sort of price actually, but the E11 has the gigabit Ethernet port and it's a bit thicker, and you can open the back and mess around with the RAM. You can't. In fact, you can actually even solder a SATA connector on and put a SATA drive in it.
Nice. You know, that's the thing that I miss about this whole Ultrabook and going super thin is that you can't crack open your computers anymore and muck around with the inside. You can't change the HDD to an SSD. You can't upgrade the RAM. You can't go, oh, you know what? Let me disconnect one of those Wi-Fi antennas and maybe attach this instead. Like, you could do so many fun things back in the day.
That's right.
And now you're kind of like, oh, I got to pay for all the upgrades, or like, you just, it's just.
Yeah, it's pretty horrible, but you know, it helps can bring the price down. It helps make things a little bit more, less prone to failures. Of course, the more connectors you got, more chance of failure, and
that's true.
Yeah.
But less chance for repair.
Yeah, but you know. Throwaway society, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it's super interesting to me in the developing market when I ask why tablets aren't people's first choice, and they go, well, I can't fix them. What happens when it breaks?
Wow.
At least with a netbook or one of these like clamshell devices with a Celeron or a Pentium, they can bring them to the repair shop and get them repaired.
It's a really good point. If we should do the ultimate.
We should do
repairable.
Yeah, we should actually.
Netbook style laptop.
Yeah, because I mean, for the emerging markets, this is still really like they're only really rolling out with the designs for like 2 or 3 years ago on the mainstream.
Yeah.
So
well, unfortunately, most of them have got soldered eMMC storage on. So
it's unfortunate.
Yeah. We'll work it out anyway.
We'll work it out. We'll figure out what is the best scenario for the emerging markets and the ones for the tinkerer, basically.
Tinkerers.
The tinkerers. Hackers. Well, so thanks for coming on here and chatting with me for a very long time about
seems like about 2 minutes to me.
I know, it was really
so much
good.
more to say.
No, I know, but these guys have been giving me time things. I'm like, no, I won't stop talking.
Bits of paper coming. We're stopping.
Dodging spitballs everywhere. But I mean, this to me is what IFA is all about, right? The new laptops, having this moment of kind of knowing what you can buy very soon.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It's so different than CES, where it's the products that they couldn't get to IFA are released for CES.
Yeah, it's all Q4 here. Christmas has started, basically.
Yeah, Christmas has started. And I always feel sorry for the students that the deals come after they go back to school.
Yeah.
Right? Because like we do these back to school buying articles for like July and August, which is the worst time of year.
Yeah.
Actually, for shopping for a laptop.
Yeah, there's a few offers around, but actually this year I didn't see much back to school stuff at all.
I did not see much back to school stuff. Actually, I actually ditched my article because I thought it would just. Because sometimes I have problems promoting products for the sake of consumerism. Sometimes I stop myself from writing those pieces.
Good for you.
Yeah, and there was nothing really at this back to school level. It was just the Yoga 2 Pro. That was the only device that I saw, and I'm like, that's becoming a great deal.
Good.
Yeah. So, UMPC portal, if you guys want to get deep into the
ultramobile
computing scene. And Chippy also has very strict. I mean, we used to feel the same about this, and now I also cover cars.
Sell out.
But it's 1.3 kilos and below, right?
Yeah, I'm really strict with that. 1.3 kilos and below.
1.3 kilos and below.
UMPCportal.com or at Chippy on Twitter.
At Chippy on Twitter. All right. So we're going to take a quick break, and I will be back with Oral-B, which I have actually did my first video in a bathroom because they had a Bluetooth connected toothbrush. I feel like I made a good life decision having my very first bathroom video live on the internet. All right, so we'll see you guys soon.